Hi there, we're looking at finding percentages of amounts, and particularly for slightly more awkward percentages like 2.5% or 1.5%. I'm going to split this into two different parts. We're going to look at how you would do it without a calculator, and also how it could be done with a calculator. So in the previous video to this one, for question 3 from the pre-assessment, we were looking at finding percentages of amounts, and if I take the same example again. So let's start with £360 and we're going to make that our 100%. And what we said was that if you start from this point, then the best way to find any percentage is to try and find what 1% is. Now to do that, we've got 100% here, we want to split it into 1%. That's 100 times smaller, so we need to divide this by 100. And that's always how you would find 1% of a number, is divide it by 100. If we do that for our 360, the decimal place will end up between a 3 and a 6, because the numbers will move twice to make the number 100 times smaller. So we end up with £3.60. Then from that point, if say for example I wanted to find 2%, I could double it. And that will give me £7.20. If I wanted to find 0.5%, then I can halve 1%. So let's have a look what 0.5% will be. So half of £3.60 is £1.80. So if I wanted to find 2.5%, then I can put together my 2% and my 0.5%. So 2.5% turns out to be £1.80 plus £7.20. So that brings us to an even £9. Now that's how you do it without using a calculator. Let's have a look at how it would work on the calculator. The easiest way, if we're going to take my £360, if divide it by 100, and that gives me 1%, and then if I want to find 2.5%, I just need to times it by 2.5. So that is how I would find my 2.5%, which would be £9. So this brings to the question here where we've got what is 2.5% of 9,200. Probably the easiest way to do it is take our 9,200, divide it by 100 to find 1%, and then times it by 2.5. Those who want to be really savvy, what you can do is combine the dividing by 100 and timesing by 2.5 into one step. Another way of looking at it is turning 2.5% into a decimal equivalent, and you can just directly times it by 0.025, and that's because 0.025 is 2.5% as a decimal. And that calculation will give you your answer. In this particular occasion, that turns out to be £230. At this point, pause the video, have a go at this particular question here, 1.5% of 2,540. You can either use the non-calculator method or the calculator method. Try out both if you're really feeling like you want to make some progress, and then play the video again once you've got an answer. Okay, welcome back. Now, the question we're having a go at is finding 1.5% of 2,500. If you did the non-calculator method, then I would presume you would have found 1% to be 25.4. You would have found 0.5% to be a further half of that. Now half of 25 is 12.5 plus the 0.2, which is half of that. We end up with 12.7. And if we add those two together, then we get 7 plus the extra one is 8. We get 38.1. The calculator method would have been 2,540 times 0.015 if you convert 1.5% to a decimal, and that gives you, surprisingly enough, 38.1. Once again, I hope that's helped and given you a better idea of how to go about percentage questions.